Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to One Thing Tech. It is Monday after Easter, and we're used to these long weekends, but right back to the grind. We're going to dig into today creating your buyer's presentation. If you tuned in last week to creating your listing presentation, it's a very similar process. I do want to highlight just a couple things specifically that are going to be a little bit different, and we'll take from there. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to just dive right in. As always, if you guys have questions, if you have a need that you would like addressed, feel free to drop it into the chat. I'll be popping into the chat to answer those questions. And then I'll leave time today to open it up to questions directly as well. Christy Lee, whenever you're ready, I can enable sharing my screen.
Whoops. It should have already worked, but hold tight.
Oh, that's all right. Keeping it secure for all of us.
It has not given me my options.
All right. Well, while she works on that, was anybody able to host a virtual open house over the past weekend? Anybody take a video walkthrough like we talked about last week? So something I'm really excited about, and it's so funny because it was in existence 2 days prior to our virtual open house class last week. Netris in North Texas, our MLS system, they now allow us to schedule an open house via a live video link. So you can, instead of just saying you're going to be at the house and be open to guests, we can actually mark that we'll be on site with a video link so that buyer's agents who are not us can share it with their clients. They can tune in to the live feed. Pretty neat thing. I'm sure we'll be seeing some cool stuff. If you guys have experience with that, certainly bring it to this. I'd love to hear. What are you saying, Christy?
I'm trying to fix this. It says that it's on, so hold on.
Okay, no worries. So I think the way that'll work, guys, if you just schedule an open house, you'll see you can schedule, instead of just a date and time within the details, you can also say that it's a live event, and make sure that it's a live link. If you're used to doing Facebook, you may consider instead streaming to Twitter or to YouTube. YouTube is very easy to live stream to, and there'd be a very simple link to include on MLS for your live open houses.
You're good to go, Seth.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much.
Sorry, guys.
Well, let's jump over here to the buyer's presentation. All right, so I'm going to show you briefly what it looks like when it's all complete. And so this is the front page. Like I said, this is going to look really familiar if you've used the listing presentation at this point, but the content in it, and I believe the best use of this guide is going to be entirely different. Today we're not going to be talking as much about using it. We're just going to talk about creating and customizing it. So let's flip through. You've got, of course, the landing page. On this next page here, I do have, this is a custom page that I put in. We've got a seamless virtual transaction with GoManagement. A lot of you have put together virtual transactions where you don't have to go in person. I think this is a really good time to include that type of thing. Just know, this type of page is nowhere to be found in the templates. You must upload this yourself. So that's one of the things we're going to be looking at today is how do you take what you've got in a custom PDF and upload it as a template into your designs. You got a table of contents, and you can see that the flow of this is very, very different. This is much more about the buyer's experience and their needs and knowing more about them. Understand that all of the text that you see on the screen is completely editable. So if a sound decision, if this is not how you describe it, I think this blurb sounds great, but if you want to rewrite it, feel free. My advice would be to customize the things that are branded to you first, customize statistics, headshot, phone number, email, address, all that stuff. Do all of that first. Make sure that you've got a working packet. And then if you need to go back and refine and rewrite some of these paragraphs, do it for yourself. But get the simple stuff done first so that you can move forward and just start using it. You'll see this is very similar to your process in the listing presentation, but this is just the first of many. So after we get past these very first few, and if you currently conduct buyer presentations, or if you've been conducting them live in person with people, these are questions that come directly out of some of the KWU scripts. So depending on whose buyer's presentation you follow and replicate, these things are, you ask the question and you go deeper. Why is that important to you? Right away, you can see the app at the bottom of the screen here. You'll have a link for your app. Make sure there's going to be a whole bunch of different places within this buyer's guide that have that link for your app. Make sure to complete and customize all of them to you. This is a really strong call to action throughout. It's all tied together. It guides people right back into the app. You'll see as we walk through the guides later on, the guides actually come directly out of the agent sites and the consumer app. And so if you have customized your consumer guide, you're also going to want to customize your consumer guide here within your buyer's presentation. We'll look at that here in a moment. So this is great. So this is kind of like a pre-qualification checklist. You're going to ask them, and it has all the things to mark off. So you can, really, this doesn't need to be edited much at all. This doesn't need to be edited much at all. Most of these pages are pretty straightforward. I do like the fact that it goes really in detail. We don't have to memorize all of these questions. It's piece by piece. What are you looking for in all these different aspects of the home? Again, at the bottom right, we can see our unique app code. This is, for most of you, just going to say app.kw.com/ and it'll be your 6 to 8 digit code that you'll have right there. Or you can use a vanity URL like I do and place it there. Again, none of this has to be customized aside from the website here. It's because a lot of our unique value in our sites and in our app is centered around neighborhoods. There's a good chunk of this buyer's presentation that is about neighborhoods as well. And so it calls out several times where to go back to the app or the site to get more information on these neighborhoods. This is not a piece that you would customize for your template. Understand that creating these buyer's presentations is really a two-step process. The first step is what I hope and what I intend for you guys to do today is to build out your buyer's presentation template so that anytime you have a buyer's appointment, you simply customize that template for that buyer specifically. There will be very, very few places that you'll need to customize. This is one of them. You'll need to put in these neighborhoods and fill in the stats below. Again, this is not something you'll do today. This is just something to do when you set the appointment. So this is the guide portion, and this is the part that you'll want to customize if you've customized your consumer guide. If you've not customized your consumer guide in your app and on your agent site, this flow right here is going to very, very closely mirror the flow that is recommended both on your app and your site. It's many different steps. It'll walk them through the entire process. And the great thing about this, if you show them from the beginning what the process looks like, then you get the app in their hand and they're walking through the guide, and then you're working your opportunities on the back end and it's updating in real time. It's a very streamlined, very seamless process from beginning to end. You're telling them right up front what to expect. And as the Bold Law says, we teach people how to treat us. Well, if we'd like our buyers to follow this process with us, we should really teach them up front what to look for and what process to follow. Right after that, again, this really doesn't need to be customized at all. This, unless you choose to, but this is pretty much boilerplate. This is just about getting pre-qualified. And the same here. It does not even have a link. I think you probably could include a link to your pre-approval, your Keller Mortgage pre-approval link. Now, if you don't use Keller Mortgage, that's not part of your workflow, it's not part of your value proposition, then you may remove these, either remove these entirely or change the wording to make sure, like this one doesn't have a whole lot about Keller Mortgage, but this one is all about Keller Mortgage. So it's going to be really important to, if you're mentioning Keller Mortgage, if you're bringing it up, which I think we should be, I think we've got a fiduciary responsibility to our clients to be at least offering Keller Mortgage, perhaps not recommending them, but at least offer them. But anyhow, you'll have that there. This will need to be customized pretty much entirely. The part that you see at the bottom, the Y4C2Ts, that stays static. This portion in the middle, you can leave static or you can customize to yourself. This would be a great place to put your bio from your marketing profile. You could just copy and paste right here. And then this right here, you can see I've forgotten to customize this portion, but this is where you'll put your name, your brand, and then any of your credentials. This comes automatically with 4 different places to put stats, but I've chosen to put the iBuyer Pro and the Keller Offers logos there instead. Understand it's completely customizable. So if you don't want to put a bunch of bullet pointed stats, change it to something else. If you got a cute picture of a dog and he's your mascot for your business, that might be a good place to put it right there. This is all customizable. You'll want to change. Now, as far as what kind of stats you put here, it can be yours personally. It can be your teams. It can be your market centers. It can be your ownership, your management structure. Whatever, if you're not super proud of your personal metrics, that's okay. Use your teams, use your market centers. We're big, we're strong as a company, and we have numbers to back it up. So until you have a great track record of yourself, don't be ashamed. Ask your team leaders, what is the lore of the office? And they'd be happy to provide those stats to you, and you can include these right here. I will say this by default says the proof is in my numbers, and I like saying our numbers instead. So whether that's your market center or it's your team, because even if you're an individual agent, remember you have a team. You have a loan officer, you have your escrow officer, you have your handyman. If you use a transaction management or a transaction manager, transaction coordinator, your team leader, your MCA, these are all people a part of your team. So don't be shy in saying that it's us instead of just me. Most of this is boilerplate. I have removed some of the stuff here at the end. Every one of these pages is a template that you can choose to put in or choose not to put in. A lot of it's really great information, but not all of it belongs for everyone. This is pretty great at the end. It's just a glossary of terms, similar to the general information that you'd get signed if you're in Texas. That's it. If you include the Keller Mortgage information, then you must include this disclosure here. As far as getting assigned and all the rest of that, obviously you're getting assigned as part of your business before you turn it in for compliance, but you must at least provide this within your buyer packet if you're mentioning Keller Mortgage. This is the back page or the final page. By default, this is actually the last page, and then this is the page just before it. I really enjoy printing these as much as I do presenting them digitally. I like to have a best practice for both. And so I build my presentations to work either on a computer screen or in paper, on paper in hand. I think this looks really good as a rear cover. And so I definitely move that to the back, and then I move the disclosures one forward. So it's on the back, or it's on the front rather, of that last page. All right, so we're gonna jump into actual customization of it. Let me jump over for some questions real quick. Where can we get this PDF? Deborah, we're gonna find that within Command right now, and you're going to be able to create your own. This is something that I've customized, but I did not create this myself. The images do not fit for New Mexico. Are there free images with Stucco or Adobe to put in, or do I need to buy my own? Really, really good question. So some of these home images, let me just flip back real quick. That's not a home in Texas, I'm pretty sure. Maybe it's in Austin. Well, that cover photo, same deal. That looks like nothing around me. So This is not fully customized. I should have shown you one that had actually been presented, but this image, generally I'll swap out that image for the buyer specifically. If you have your own listings and you want to put those photos in there instead, you can. Otherwise, we will see here in a moment in designs how to actually pull up stock images that are built into Command and to use those. Let's see, the flatten the curve PDF. Gotcha. Oh, so the flatten the curve, if you're part of Go Management, that flatten the curve PDF is going to be on the Go site. There are my recommendation is talk to your team leaders. Most offices have something about COVID, how we're treating our clients, the way that we're adjusting. And I think it's just it'd be a prudent thing to use some type of materials that are that really relate to the time we're going through right now. Include that in your buyer presentation and include it right up front. I can tell you when I'm coaching a buyer through this right now, we show it to them right up front and say, look, we're going to get into the whole process later, but I just want to let you know that we've got a solution right now for these times where nobody wants to come in contact with each other. So if you want to process this entire transaction from the comfort of your couch, we can do that. We can return to that later, but just know when we're in our buying process, I put this right up front so it's easy for you to find, and you can refer to this later on.
Yeah, most of the offices, regardless of Go or not, everybody in the region should have something for you to use.
Absolutely. Thank you, Christy. All right, guys. Any other questions before we jump into the actual customization of this tool? Cool. All right. Go back over here. All right. Let me close back out of this because I jumped in a little bit quick. We are in Command and we're in Designs. Again, remember you can click at the top and print. This will show you all of your previous templates that you've edited or created. And so I'm going to jump into one that I've worked on previously. Actually, no, I take it back. I'm going to show you, I'm going to walk you through a brand new one. So at the bottom right, we're going to hit the plus button. We're going to click on print because we want to create a new template and then hit next. It's going to pull us into the designs portal. Over the left-hand side, we're going to click buyer and then buyer presentation. You can see there's only one type of format. It's really just the booklet in letter size. You've got two different color options. The content is largely the same. The fonts, the sizes, the way that things are arranged, the styling is a little bit different. They call these classic and modern. You can use whichever you'd like. You guys just saw the modern one, so I'm going to click into the classic one instead. Now, just like the listing presentation, by default, it starts out as a blank canvas. You have one page and it is a blank page, okay? We can add additional blank pages here. That's not what we want to do. Instead, we want to come here. Now, you can just know this. You can click on this right here. This is really your instructions. You do not want to include this in your actual buyer presentation. This is instructions for you on how to create it and how to use it. In order to delete a page, we're going to pull up to this pages view, hit the little arrow icon, and then click the trash can. I do want to delete that design, and it's gotten rid of it. All right, so the first one we'd want to have is our cover page. Now, if you're on a blank page, we can hit apply to this page. For everything else, we want to add a new page. So for this one, we're just going to apply to this page. And then I'm just going to scroll through, and every one of these templates that I'd like to use, I'm going to add. Now, don't feel bad about adding every single one of the templates at first and then flipping through them. And if you don't like it, again, from this page view, you can always click and delete the ones that you don't dig. So again, my recommendation, add all the templates, see which ones you like, take out the ones you don't. So we're just going to go through and click plus. And we're going to drop all of these in here. I'm going to skip forward. I'm going to show you a couple that you might consider, or you might be really cautious before you add them. So this one right here, let me show you. This is a testimonials page. Now this is really powerful, but if you don't have ready to go testimonials, you don't want this page in there. Don't add this by mistake without customizing it. I don't know that there's a better way to lose credibility than to have fake testimonials that are not customized to you. People will think things and they're not good things. So if you drop that in there, just be sure to copy and paste from your Facebook, from personal messages, whatever, from your Zillow profile, whatever the case it is. That's really it, folks. You add these. So I can show you at the end, we're adding our affiliated business disclosure. And then from these pages view, or if I have more than will fit in this top row, I can blow this up to show all pages. I can simply click and drag this page wherever I like. So in my case, I'd like to put it right there. It looks better when it prints. I think it's a more appropriate place to put that disclosure as well. So one of the things I do want to look at specifically, because most of this is going to be fairly user-friendly, where when you're customizing and you want to edit an image, you simply click on the image, you find the image you want to replace it with, and you replace it just like that. All the rest of these text boxes, the logos, everything is editable there. What I do want to show you is how to take a blank page, which we've got here, and how to create a page that you already have designed elsewhere. So first of all, so we looked at that flatten the curve deal. I'm going to drag this back to the very beginning. Okay. Then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to open up a PDF. So within Adobe Acrobat, I'm going to click on File up at the top left. I'm going to export to Image. I'm going to export it to a PNG. I like PNGs because they're a little bit higher resolution than a JPEG. They're a little bit more versatile, and they're not such a bulky file type as a TIFF. TIFF would be preferable, but not all programs can use a TIFF, and Designs, in fact, is really not meant for it. Designs is either meant for JPEG or PNG, a PNG. When you're doing a full page for a PDF, I highly recommend a PNG. So understand the document that we've got right now is a full page portrait letter-sized PDF, and I just want to convert this to an image. So I'm going to convert it to a PNG. I'm going to come down here to Settings, drag this over. This right here is going to help you. If you have it on the maximum pixels per inch, you may get an error message that says that the image is too wide. Well, if you get that, just come in here, you click Settings before you save it, and then we can change the resolution down. In my case, 1200 pixels per inch works. It's small enough, but you can change it down to whatever you like. Understand the smaller number you have, the lower the resolution it is, meaning it's not going to be as crisp when you print it or when you post it up on a full screen. So you want to use the maximum resolution possible while still exporting. That's the only thing I've changed, folks. I'm going to hit that and I'm going to click Save. File already exists, replace existing file. Let's try that again. So it is saved now. Fine, I've got a dialog box open somewhere. Hold on, folks. All right, so you'll see at the bottom right, it'll give you a little bar that says it's saving. It'll take just a moment to process. While that's working, I'm going to jump back over to Command. So with this background image, now I can come over and I can drop whatever image I'd like. And you simply align it with the top left. This is easy, guys. And then you stretch it to be the full page. That's it. So we've now taken a PDF, converted it to an image, and then use that image to be the backdrop for an entire page within our designs. Now we can see that our customized page can be moved wherever we like. We can get any PDF, any Word document, any PowerPoint presentation. We can essentially do the same thing. You just simply save as an image. All right, flip it over to some questions real quick. Let's see, Kathy asked, should we have some templates automatically in print? I don't. If you've never created a template, a printable template, then you probably don't. If you've created flyers, listing, buyer presentation, any of that stuff, that'll show up under your print templates. If you have a template started but do not want it, how do you delete it from command? So let's go back real quick. That is a pretty simple process. So I've just saved that presentation that we were working on. And we can see it right here, Untitled Design. This is my buyer template that I want to keep. This Untitled Design right here. I'm going to simply hit that little options button and delete. And it goes away. That helps, folks. If you're never going to use, or if you've got duplicates or triplicates of the same template, keep it cleaned up so you know which one you're coming back to. I create a lot of stuff as tests, and my templates get pretty cluttered sometimes. So I regularly go back and delete old templates as well. Kelly says she started one yesterday and do not see the blank page. If you do not see the blank page, you can add a new blank page. So within there, when you're looking at the page view, I'll jump back over again. So we're looking at the page view. At the bottom, pop these pages up. I'm going to show all pages because I've got too many in here to see the last one. And we're going to hit this plus button at the very end. Anytime you do that, it drops a blank page into your presentation. And we can go back to show all pages. I can grab this blank page and move it wherever I'd like. Kelly, does that answer your question? I assume it does. All right, folks, what else can I do for you today? I'm going to drop a link in chat. Remember, you can go to onething.tech and see the past trainings. We'll have the rest of last week's up there shortly. If you guys have questions or requests, be sure to bring them to these afternoon sessions. I'd love to cover it in the future. We are going to be covering buyer stuff this week, all week. And then next week, we're going to look at some actionable items. We're actually going to do some work together live from 3 to 3:30 in the afternoons. Thank you all for being here today. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, Seth. Have a good day, buddy.
You too.
Thank you.